Go ahead and open your notebook right now. See that vertical red line running down the left side? That margin about an inch wide, creating a blank space where you're not supposed to, right? You've seen it on every notebook, every piece of lined paper, every legal pad since you were 5 years old. You probably assumed it was for notes or organization or maybe just aesthetics. It's for rats. Well, more specifically, it was invented to protect your work from rats and mice and any other creature that might want to eat the edges of your paper while you slept. Because 200 years ago, if you left important documents unprotected overnight, there was a very real chance that by morning, the edges would be gnawed away. Your words, your numbers, your ideas gone, consumed by rodents who found paper absolutely delicious. Look at that margin. It's precise, usually 1 inch, sometimes 1 1/4. It runs perfectly parallel to the edge of the page. The line is almost always red or pink, never blue or black like the horizontal lines. And here's what's fascinating. There's no real functional reason for it anymore. You have a computer. Your notes are backed up to the cloud. Rats are not breaking into your apartment to eat your grocery list. But we keep printing it. According to industry reports, over 23 billion notebook pages are produced annually in the United States alone. Every single one has a margin. That's 23 billion little blank spaces that exist. Because of a problem that hasn't been relevant for over a century, the average student will use about 6,000 sheets of notebook paper. That means you have personally been participating in rodent defense your entire academic life without even knowing it. To understand why the margin was so brilliant, we need to go back to a time when paper was precious and rats were everywhere. Imagine it's 1750 and you're a clerk in London. You've just spent 6 hours copying legal documents by hand. Paper is expensive, maybe 2 days' wages for a single sheet. There are no copy machines, so this copy is the only record. You leave the documents on your desk overnight because where else would you put them? There are no filing cabinets, no safes, and overnight the rats come. According to historian Dr. Ruth Goodman, rats were just a fact of 18th and 19th century life. Even wealthy homes had them, and they were always hungry. Paper, especially paper with ink made from natural materials, was actually nutritious. The linen and cotton fibers, the plant-based inksel, edible. But rats have a problem. They can't eat from the middle of a flat surface. They need an edge to grip. Yes. They start at corners and margins, gnawing inward. A rat can destroy a half-inch of paper edge in a single night. So you'd arrive at work to find your 6 hours of careful copying ruined. The first word of every line gone, the signature at the bottom destroyed. And then someone, probably multiple people around the same time in the early 1800s, had a simple idea. What if we just accepted that rats are going to eat the edges? What if we left the edges blank? The genius was in the surrender. You couldn't stop the rats. Poison helped but never eliminated them. So instead of fighting nature, you accommodated it. You leave 1 inch of blank space. If the rats eat that, fine. Your actual work remains intact, safe inside the safe zone. Paper manufacturers started adding that vertical line as a guide. Right here, not there. The red margin line became standard by the 1870s. Red ink was chosen because it was the most visible and urgent warning. Stop here. Danger beyond this point. It worked beautifully. Account books from the 1800s show clear evidence of edge gnawing that stops exactly at the margin line, leaving the numbers intact. The margin became a sacrifice zone, a buffer between your words and the teeth of rats. But then, something interesting happened. Indoor plumbing improved, building codes tightened. Pest control became effective. By 1900, rats eating your paper was no longer a major concern. The problem that created the margin essentially disappeared, and yet the margin stayed. Why? Because it turned out the margin was useful for other things. Teachers started using it for grades and comments. Students used it for annotations. Lawyers used it for case notes. The margin evolved from rat defense to an organizational tool. But that evolution only happened because the space already existed. We've inherited rat defense and turned it into an aesthetic preference. Margin is now so deeply embedded in our concept of what a proper page looks like that paper without margins feels wrong, unprofessional, chaotic. Even in the digital age, when you open Microsoft Word or Google Docs, the default page has margins. 1 inch on the sides. No rats in your laptop. But we keep the convention because it just looks right. So tonight, open your notebook. Run your finger along that red line. Think about the millions of rats that created this design requirement, not just looking at organizational structure. You're looking at brilliant adaptive engineering from the 1800s. Humans learned they couldn't defeat the rats, so they outsmarted them instead. You're seeing the ghost of a problem that no longer exists, preserved in every notebook you'll ever use. 23 billion pages a year still carry the solution to a rat problem from 200 years ago. You just had to know what you were looking at. Thanks for watching. If you found that interesting, be sure to subscribe for more hidden histories.